Expenses. All right, per diem. We're starting off here, just a little bump to 285 and 340. The two things kind of a note here as Canada today, it gets domestic per diem. It'll be in the international bucket going forward. For the first year for 25, it's going to, both rates are just going to get bumped up 5 cents. Starting 24, it's going to go up 5 cents, just like it does today in current book. But starting in 25 and into the future, it's always going to be a 2.5% bump increase going forward. So instead of being a 5 cent increase, now it's a 2.5% growth rate going forward and out. Okay. This is where today, if the company has there's a non-catering facility that they add $10 to your to give you to buy a breakfast. We are just getting rid of the flat $10 amount, and now we're just going to a reasonable actual expense. Be reasonable in how you define what that is. So, but yeah, so this will allow you to procure your own breakfast in these locations. They have to publish those facilities, those spots. All right, down the road here, this one's going to take a while to implement, but basically, I don't know if you're aware now, you know, first class passengers can go into the app and there's like 4 or 5 meal choices they can select. We're going to add those options in addition to all the pilot special meals so that you'll be able to pick from a larger choice of options. Internally, we call these the heavier choice meals versus the lighter choice meals. So heavier in sodium and not volume. Okay. All right. Double town trips. Today, the rate for is $20. It's going up to a $30 per hour rate. We are adding the Tampa co-terminal to Orlando with a drive time of 2 hours and 30 minutes. And also now going forward, DCA to Dulles will be considered a double town that does not count today. Okay. All right, for pilots on TDY, is popular because a lot of people don't spend their time off on their days off in their TDY location. They prefer just to be by the field, spend less time as possible there. So now the pilot will have the option to, once they get a TDY award, to please try to get me a hotel at the field versus sending me downtown for the TDY. Downtown is still guaranteed for the pilot if they want it. This is just an option to preference to go to the field. All right, new uniform program. One thing missing from here, I think everyone's aware. I still have the scar, but anyway. All right, so this is once we launch, whenever that is, the new uniform is that every year now the company will reimburse you for maintenance and keeping that new pieces. So a couple shirts, pair of pants, a tie a year, and every 5 years a new uniform jacket. And the union, the uniform committee and the company will jointly help pick which are the approved vendors for this. Okay, site passport. This has been kind of a thorn in a lot of people's sides, is the whole issues with visa processing times. COVID exposed a huge problem we had. People trying to get the China visas, we still have it today. People getting delays with that. So to get around this, and also actually anybody who just wanted to actually go on vacation when they had a chunk of time off, that you had to send your passport away. So the company will now reimburse you for a second passport, and basically now there's pay protections too. So when you send your passport off and China sits on it for a couple months, that you guaranteed you're going to be pay protected if you had a China trip and you can't go because you're waiting for it to be processed. So we now have captured that language. The difference here too, though, is that they clarified too that the 1 hour of ad pay is if you actually have to go in person somewhere to process a visa. If the company, we at TK and says, hey, we've got this expediter, bring your package, they'll send it off while you're here to get it processed. They'll cover all the expenses since they're dealing with it. So that would not get you the hour ad pay. Okay. Parking, we're increasing it from $35 a month to $60. Okay, this is just from a system board, just some cleanup that your crew meal has to have your name on it, and they can't do some trickery on where they board it to prevent you from getting special meals.